Hey, hey.
Hey, hey.
Hi, everyone.
I got you a treat. That way you're protected. Space.
Ooh.
It's your space helmet for the UFO. Our wheelie-popping UFO, you're going to need solar protection. We're here again. Wheelie-popping trike. Not yet from outer space, but soon to be. Today we're working on hydraulics. Ooh. Remember, we want this UFO to go up, down, front, back, side to side, and spin. So we got a lot of that in motion. We went on a little field trip, came back with some treasure. Let's make this thing almost work, because we don't have a hydraulic pump. But we'll do all the mechanics and the theory. All right, so check out this stash, this hoard. All right, look at all this good stuff. So protecting the innocent, we're not saying any names, but this stuff is clean gotten gains, but it came from a place where everything's supposed to go in the trash. So we got it on the hookup. Look at these hooks, speaking of hooking up. Yeah, so this is awesome. Little Jewel's gonna need a little accessory, and I might just put one on the back of my truck on a trailer hitch because it's so cool.
Just put it back.
Well, you know, they have all kinds of accessories hanging from the trailer hitches lately, as you may know. So maybe two of those big hooks hanging off the bumper.
Arizona is it's a big truck state.
Are you even
Florida
masculine,
was like that.
bro? Unless you drive a giant lifted Ram with two large appendages hanging off the rear trailer.
I had
hitch.
no idea. It's funny.
Yes. So I don't know what this is, but it looks like it does something. It's not a gas pedal. You'd think if it was a two-way valve, like forward and back, that this would have a forward and back. I don't know. We're gonna see what this is. It may help us. Is what I'm getting at. This might help us.
Somebody should know, though. Somebody will probably know what the heck.
Yeah, these came from one of those boom trucks. So they were the vehicles that would grab a telephone pole with the claw. I'm getting two claws because little Jewel's gonna need a claw hanging.
She needs a claw naturally.
So this was in the seat. These are cool. They're just little cast aluminum control knobbers.
Very cool.
So we'll use those somewhere. And then I got 3 hydraulic cylinders, which are perfect for the lift. And there's more coming. Ordering a little snowplow pump, because we're not gonna need a lot of volume or speed. So about 130 bucks, neat little hydraulic unit. Today we're gonna put these in and test the lift mechanism. We won't be able to power them because I don't have the hydraulic pump, but again, we'll just lift it with the engine hoist to see. We're gonna try to make this lift a lot because we only have about 5 inches of travel. That's the one defining factor. Like you hear an electric car, right? Well, how far does it go on a charge, right? So with the hydraulics, it's like, well, how much does it lift and how far is the reach? So it's only a 5-inch stroke on that Ram, but it's super powerful. I mean, look at the size of that cylinder. That's what I was thinking all morning. If you were to put this, you know, your natural thought is, okay, well, you'll put it here, right? Because we're putting 1 Ram per piece. Well, we'll put it in the center, but that only gives you 5 inches of lift. So what if we split the difference with the hinge, because that's so powerful, we would get 10 inches of lift.
Science.
If you could see the look on Jamie's face right now, she is impressed. She's beyond impressed. That's why I get away with so much. Easy to
What'd you say?
That's why I get away with so much in our relationship, because I just pull all the tricks and you get impressed and it gives me some leeway. I could really talk some game.
He really can. It's very charming.
Goes a long way. So I drilled a hole pretty close to on center. I think I offset it just a little bit. So that Ram, to get the hole in the center, so we got our pivot, So instead of putting it on the end, we're gonna put this right through the center. And I did some measuring so that that cylinder can drop down, see? All right, so we're gonna move this more to the center of here, and we're gonna tack this on, and I'm gonna show you why. Let me get that welder. We had a few people asking about the height of the UFO. If it was gonna hit the forks, etc. No, because this framework is not set in place. The framework can still be set to any height. So it's just tacked to the chassis now. So once we get all this built, we can lift the whole thing up and then put it into position. And I also just swapped out this pair of matching tires. They're very small. They're not going to be in the way. So it lowered the thing considerably as well. So they're rollers for now. We'll see. I might upgrade to bigger tires. Just, you know, people are like, dude, it hits the front forks. You're not going to be able to steer all this other stuff. And it's like, no.
This is not Ian's first crazy rodeo.
That's the process.
I bet like a majority of your projects on Full Custom Garage that were the wacky ones was like, how are you going to steer that thing? How are you going to get into it? Is it road legal?
And honestly, like I haven't given up or failed on one yet. They've all been reasonably usable.
I like your new lockers.
Yeah, you've probably already seen the Little Jewel episode by now, because that's what Jamie's working on. Repurposed parts. How come I have two lefts? Where's my rights? Somebody said I should leave my welding helmet out in the sun, because maybe that's why it was faltering, because they're solar powered. But this thing's beat up. I got Jamie a helmet, and I got me a helmet. But let's see if this thing came back to life. It was really messed up on the bug. But it had been in the dark for a long time while we were just...
I don't think you've ever set it out to be recharged.
Well, it also charges while you're welding.
Oh.
The light, but I weld so sporadically, and while we're moving, I was barely welding. I just sat all that time. You got to think about all the things in this world that has... I mean, no sun, no welding sparks. How can a helmet survive? All right, now, here's the point I was trying to make. This goes inside, so I need a little holder. You got this, goes there. We have our piston. It's gonna go there. And our large bolt is gonna hold it all in place. You'll see what I'm saying?
Kind of.
So we're letting gravity do its work. So we're not attaching this to the chassis yet because we're not sure of the height all in all. But basically, when that cylinder pushes, it's pushing this up, which lifts the whole thing.
Oh.
And that will be quite
I get it.
quite the lift.
So is this the kind of stuff they use on the mini trucks?
Oh yeah, it's direct representation. There's a lot of different styles and probably some trade secrets that I'm not hip to because I'm a first timer. But yeah, this is kind of how it happens. Theory-wise. Man, that helmet worked like a charm. So see, this is the first piece. Now this cylinder will expand, but it's not attached at the bottom. So let's just go like this. So that will lift that much. It's a pretty good lift. I was saying for only a 5-inch stroke, it lifts 7.5, so that's better. That's the sound we're looking for. Now we got this. Got our little holster. Let's put the other one in place. This one I made a little bit tighter. Are 10.25. Cool, I don't even need to put that hanger. See how the original concept is changing a little bit and getting stronger with all these braces? Mm-hmm. You know, that open frame was strong, but now it's just getting better. Okay, so now our other ram. So this ram is going to be not pushing off the chassis of this trike. The ram is going to be pushing off of this level. A little bit hard to describe in words, but let me explain it. It's a little bit like climbing a ladder. You know, you put 1 foot on the rung above, so the first ram is pushing off of the base, right? Mm-hmm. That's coming up like this. But the second ram has to push off of this rack, not off the base, so that it goes up and it pushes off of that. But because our ram is X amount long, we need to drop down from this second level and then make our bracket off of that. Does that make any sense?
No, but I trust the process.
You're not the only one. It doesn't make any much sense to me either. But check this out. You take one of these. And you put that through here. So I need to have a bracket. I made this for the other style ram because I already created all this in my head, in my pea brain. I need to make a drop down that comes down to here that won't be in the way because as this ram lifts, it's going to swing over. Feeling me? Mm-hmm. As the ram lifts, it's going to arc this way. So I need to measure how far down this is going to go. So the top of the ram can't go any higher than that because we don't want to interfere with anything. And the hole has to be, well, the entire piece needs to be 10.5 inches lower than that. So we need an angle iron exactly like this, but 10.5 inches long. Got a new shipment of this stuff. Give it a 100% thumbs up. This is going to be our drop off of that surface. And we're going to strengthen this. But again, baby steps. We're just trying to make everything come together in the end. It's just getting, I mean, it's getting heavier, but it's getting stronger also. You know, when it says it extends the length of the tool life, I ain't kidding. And I'll probably put a little washer on there just to get some clearance. But for now, mock-up is well underway. Let's set this up with a square under there. See, that drops this down. As long as that cylinder isn't rising above this, they're good to go. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so let's just square this. I was just making bulk pieces. That's why there's a hole drilled in that. I was just measuring stuff on the table, so we'll put a strap around this and really support all of it. So now, we're lifting off this second level. Now we need to put something in here. So what I'm wondering is, you know, we don't want it to hit that when it tilts over. So I'm gonna push it just a little bit forward. Just gonna go with that. And I'll just roll back as it, I'm gonna give it a little bit more lift too. I'm gonna get all my buckets of bolts out of the trailer, but this little square shank will line us up for the moment. All right, so this is how it should work. This one's gonna come
Whoa.
It's like a dying robot.
What is that?
Hydraulic fluid. You know, like when robots die, they don't bleed. Hydraulic fluid comes out of them.
Aww.
Stage 1 or stage 2. See, that's something we weren't thinking about. Look at that.
Yeah.
When this comes up, that hits that. And it's real close. It's all about the soundtrack, right?
It sounds like Donald Duck. That's why I was like, what is that noise? That's how he talks.
Let's twist this a little bit. That ain't gonna twist, that is heavy duty. That's a different mousetrap right there. Hi-ya! Oh, there it goes. All right, we got clearance. So that's stage 1 and stage 2. Now stage 3, we have a different style ram. Just gonna try to get all the sputtering and splattering out of the way. All right, we have relieved the excess pressure. So this one has a little bit of a heim joint, which is cool. Those others, I'm gonna have to work with that because they were binding a little bit. But this one's good. And it's greasy, but I think it's because they maintained it a lot. They got these Zerk fittings on there. So now this one is going to lift the next level, but this one's the trickiest because it doesn't work in parallel like this. It turns it to the side, and that's on that big ring. So we have to push off of this level, which is another drop down, and we have to ensure that that drop doesn't hit anything, like the transmission or that bracket right there. So that's going to have a swing. You know, see the way that this swings back? This one's gonna have a swing and arc this way. So we may have to move this closer, but that's okay because that's the lightest part of the whole thing. So it's like number 1 is pushing everything, number 2 is pushing a little less, and number 3 is pushing a little less. See what I'm saying? The rod, and see how this isn't perfectly square, so that little bit of articulation, the heim joints, is going to help. It's actually quite a rotation. We might have to put that on the cross member here. That's the trickiest one. So just to say, this thing is really long. In fact, it's too long.
Uh-oh.
Well, we don't need to use the whole amount of the cylinder. Now, let's make it go right to there. I'll be fine. Oh, we could push it from up here too. That's what we're gonna, no, that's gonna go forward. It has to be back here. Okay. Yeah, let's drop that. And then as that comes up, I think it'll clear because the battery's gonna be down there. Oh, I know, we're gonna put a square on this and just check it. We're thinking about this square and the angle that it's pointing. You know, right now it's pointing straight down, right? But when we lift it, you gotta think about where that's pointing to. See, already it's gonna hit there. So we wanna bring this pointing at that, so it's going to hit in there. But we don't need this much articulation at all. You might not even need a ram that big. I wonder if I shouldn't get a smaller cylinder. I think I should get one more of these. So let's model, even if I don't use this one, I'll get the same length. Let's model this on this cylinder. And we'll just use that. Now the downside of these is they don't have a heim joint.
Why can't you put that longest cylinder at the bottom?
The bottom is the most weight.
Oh, and the black ones are
See how these are
stronger?
hitting, see how these are hitting the chassis too? Uh-huh. So look at that, that's right on the frame. You can't go longer. That's why I chose that position. I thought we could have, I don't think we need this big. It's gonna just be a lot of complications. I know this machine has one smaller than this. Just to say, what would we do to just hold this up? Let me just do this. So that's as high as that can go. That's the extension of that ram. So that's an adequate lift. So let's see what the other one adds up to. Okay. So that scissors up adequately. That is definitely enough. So that's just a vertical lift right there.
It already looks cool.
Yeah, it's gonna work. It's just, you see, it's not a textbook procedure. So that's 10 inches of lift, which is totally cool. You know, I could just easily get in it like that, but this is what we're talking about to step in. You want it like that, right there. That way you just get right in. And you know, the dome, that'll be hitting the ground over there, definitely. Mm-hmm. So it'll be somewhere in between. You know, maybe this one here will be down a little bit just to tilt it up that bit more. But to step in, yeah, it's totally adequate. So that's cool. You see the process on the hydraulics. We're just gonna have to do the same thing with a smaller ram. I just wanna look at these steering wheel, or this handlebars for 1 sec.
Yikes.
Serious mousetrap. So this is what I was thinking for the handlebars. People are like, well, how are you gonna steer? Like that. So I'm gonna have to make some custom bars. So when you're sitting in there, it's just doing that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that'll totally work.
So you won't use those handlebars. Those, you'll make some new ones.
Or I'll use these bars and I'll just make a custom set of risers. In fact, I want to see these up here like this.
Right.
So that's what I'm gonna do. Or I could always just put the bars down there. Either way, this is pretty cool.
Reminiscent of Space Junkie a little bit.
And I do have those VersaLift handles. So I don't know, maybe we could do something with these. I'm not sure. But you know, the final look of the saucer, I'm gonna have to take this ring off now and attach that. I'm gonna cut the center of that and place this. The hydraulics are cool. We're gonna get 1 cylinder and 1 pump. So I think next time we'll be able to position this finally and then move on to the steering.
Yay.
But yeah, thanks for all those hydraulic parts. They're gonna work perfect. These 2 rams are ideal. I'm gonna get in touch with them and try to just get 1 more. We're set.
Okay.
What's today's word? Poquito.
Little by a little.
Poquito y poquito.
Thanks, Mom.
And we're out.